back for the second lesson, still a biology lesson. We are continuing with our chemical coordination. I want us to complete it. I want us to get done with it. We said I'm online, and I'm by names of Teacher Alan. For those who are not part of us, please join us. You can reach us via the number 0703 27 82 31. When you notify us, you can get us on WhatsApp via that number. You can even make calls. We shall get back to you always. For any inquiry that is academic, you can still reach us. Any advertisement, you can still reach us. So you are most welcome. Self-introduce yourselves. Tumusime, Mugisa Kevin. Fiona is back. I'm also back, Fiona. Tumusime, I'm also back. I'm with you people. And thanks for being good academicians. To a level that you even, for all lessons, the likes of Fiona, the likes of Kevin, like you for that. As we wait for more members, please self-introduce yourselves. Introduce yourselves. Please. Have you ever seen Tony, by the way? The man who's always behind the camera? Would be like, Lina is with us today. Lina, you're most welcome. Lina, can I know your real name? Have you ever seen Tony? The man who is always behind the camera? He's a gentleman, a big man. Would you like to see him? To carry the story short, the others will find us. We have a gland we call adrenal gland. The adrenal gland, it is found in the lower abdomen, that is in the pelvic region. Yes, you're going to see Tony. Tony will come in front of the camera, you'll see him shortly. The adrenal gland, we said it is found in the lower abdomen, in the pelvic region. The hormone it secretes, actually it has two portions. It has what we call the medulla region, the adrenomedulla, and the adrenal cortex. These two secrete hormones, different hormones. They are all stimulated by the pituitary gland through the adrenocortical stimulating hormone. That is the hormone that stimulates the adrenal gland to secrete its hormones. Adrenocortical stimulating hormone. The two portions of the adrenal cortex, we said the adrenal gland is found above, it is found on the kidney at the upper part of it. The adrenomedulla secretes a hormone known as adrenaline hormone. Adrenaline hormone, we shall see, or we shall have a look at the use. And we also have the adrenal cortex, which secrete hormones that are collectively known as cortisol or cortisol hormones, or the cortisol hormone. But our target for this level is to have a look at adrenaline hormone. It is secreted by the adrenomedulla under the influence of the pituitary gland through the adrenocortical stimulating hormone. The role of the pituitary, it is actually secreted in cases of sudden emergencies or sudden happenings, and especially emergencies. These emergencies may include happiness, when you are too happy, when you are scared, when you're scared, when you have fear, when you are excited, and so many other cases that actually sudden happenings. So the excitement can also cause the release of adrenaline hormone. Gemma is back. You most welcome, Gemma. The role of adrenaline, it does the major role of increasing blood, increasing the rate at which the blood flows and the rate at which you breathe in reaction to any emergency or any sudden happening. It prepares the body for a response. So what it does, it prepares the body for a response towards any sudden happening, such as excitement, fear, or happiness. There are very many other sudden happenings. In some books, we shall find that this adrenaline is known as epinephrine. In some books, we shall find that this hormone is known as fight, flight hormone. All of these are names of adrenaline. For it always prepares the body for a response towards any sudden happening. So, for example, in case of fear, it prepares you to fight back if anything needs to be fought, or you fly away, you run away. That's why we call it a fight-flight hormone. Its action or its presence causes the following: the effects of adrenaline secretion. One, the adrenaline increases the rate of heartbeat. This rate of heartbeat is increased such that more blood flows to the cells of the effector tissues, carrying more glucose and oxygen required by the cells to generate the energy required for the response. So the increase in the rate of heartbeat increases the rate at which blood flows to and from the cells of the effector tissue. To carry enough oxygen and glucose are required. These are the reasons to why the heartbeat rate increases. It's the increase at which the blood flows to and from the effector tissue cells. Why the blood flows at a higher rate? To carry enough oxygen and glucose at a time. And this glucose and oxygen is required to generate energy for a what? For a response. So these explanations are very crucial that must be known. And why does the blood leave the effector tissue frequently? Is to carry away the byproducts of that metabolism, that respiration. We know the carbon dioxide will be formed since respiration is at a high rate. Energy formation is at a high rate. So the blood will flow out of the cells out of the tissue of the effector organ to carry away the wastes of respiration. So that is also the reason why the heartbeat increases, and also to carry away the wastes of metabolism, actually of cell metabolism frequently. That's why blood flows to and from the effector effector tissues frequently. That is the major reason. As you are digesting that, more blood, the adrenaline increases the breathing rate. Why does this occur? Why does the breathing rate increase? Is simply to increase the rate at which the lungs are filled and emptied with air, actually make more oxygen available and to carry away the carbon dioxide that is excreted from the cells, from the active cells of the effector tissue. Still, the adrenaline causes or stimulates, once in the blood, stimulates conversion of the stored glycogen to glucose. And that we said that is the function of liver cells. So it stimulates the conversion of the stored glycogen to glucose to make it available for cellular respiration, to provide enough energy for actually muscle movements during a response. We are talking about the adrenaline hormone. And we do not need much, a lot, or we shall not need to know much about that. This item will always be brought, this question will always be brought in line with sudden happenings. The hormone works on alarm reactions. The alarm reactions we commonly know are those ones: the passion, excitement, when you are frightened, when you are angry, when someone annoys you, when you have low blood sugars, all those are alarm reactions. When you have shock, when you have pain, adrenaline will always be secreted to serve those purposes I've given, increasing the heartbeat rate. And I've given you the reason why the heartbeat rate always increases. It increases such that more blood flows to the tissues of the effector organ. And when more blood flows to the effector organs, enough glucose and oxygen is supplied. The supply of enough glucose and oxygen to these effector organ cells will imply that enough energy is generated by the cells to cause a response or to run in the response action. It is more blood will leave the effector cells frequently to pick the waste products of the metabolism. There will also be increased breathing rate as a result of adrenaline, and the increased breathing rate will always aim at increasing the rate at which the lungs are filled with air, fresh air, rich in oxygen, and emptying it from the air that is rich in carbon dioxide. The adrenaline will also stimulate liver cells to convert the stored glycogen, like glucagon, the stored glycogen, to make more glucose available for cellular respiration to generate energy. And in doing so, the adrenaline increases muscular power and reduces cases of fatigue during a response. So the major activity of adrenaline is increasing muscular power and reducing fatigue during response. When you are chased by a dog, you cannot feel tired. You run until when you are safe. That is when you start feeling pain. The effect is of adrenaline. The adrenaline ensures that you get enough glucose and oxygen supply to the effector tissues. So you will not feel tired. So you will not feel the fatigue when you are carrying out, when the body is carrying out the response, because of the power that is formed as a result of adrenaline being secreted. As writing about adrenaline, don't forget it starts up from the pituitary gland, stimulating it through the adrenocortical stimulating hormone. Don't forget that it is secreted by the medulla part of the adrenal gland. Know the role and how it carries out the role. The role is to prepare the body for a response towards any alarm reaction, any sudden happening. We've given some sudden happenings such as fear, excitement, flighteness. You can talk of anger when someone annoys you. We can talk about many pain. We cannot finish them. So long as they are pain, actually they are alarm reactions. Even when you have an emergence of diabetes mellitus, a shock, a sugar shock, a blood sugar shock, adrenaline is released together with insulin. Let me think. I'm putting everything clear. There are some questions here. I want to go through them. Anger. Yes, Fiona, I said anger. That's what I said. Thank you. Does it also affect the rate of urine formation? Adrenaline, remember, everything is increased. So we have more wastes formed. It can also affect it. It can affect urine formation. Fiona, help me with the number of Asimwe Mike. The number to join the group is as simple as 0703 27 82 31. When you contact us via that number, we shall direct you. We shall help you add you to the group. 0703 27 82 31. There is another question from Mugisa Kevin. Tumusime Imran is asking, how does it command? It does not command. I said it prepares the body. It does not command. What is the meaning of flight from Timothy? Flight, to be frightened. How can I term it in Uganda? To be frightened. Okukangibwa. Okukangibwa. There's a difference between kukangibwa and kutisibwa tisibwa. To be frightened. Look for the meaning, Timothy. There is a question from Mugisa Kevin. It also widens the pupil of the eye to increase the range of vision. That is very nice from Mugisa. Another effect of adrenaline, it is to widen the pupil of the eye such that the eye allows more light to enter it. So that is very nice. You can include that. Does it affect excitement? It is excitement that affects adrenaline secretion. Excitement causes adrenaline secretion. Excitement is simply an alarm reaction. So it's not excitement that is affected, but it is instead excitement that affects adrenaline secretion. Let me think I've responded to everyone. Fiona, that is great. To move on, they are what we call gonads. They are what we call gonads. They are glands we call gonads. And gonads are simply glands found in the reproductive organs of different organisms. Among these gonads, we have the ovary. We also have the testes, majorly. You remind me we forget to talk about follicle-stimulating hormone in the pituitary gland and the luteinizing hormone. You remind me. Let's start with the testes. The testicles. Let's start with the testicles. In the testicles, they are what we call interstitial cells. Interstitial cells. The interstitial cells are found in the epididymis of the testes, the highly coiled tube inside the testes. These interstitial cells secrete a hormone known as testosterone. The spelling and the pronunciation challenges many. The word is testosterone hormone. It plays a number of roles, of which they include controlling the development of male sexual characteristics. as one of the roles. Controls the development of male sexual characteristics. You can talk of some of those characteristics. We have the likes of growth of beards. We are mentioning, if we say for us what we do, we give you a hint where to start from as you're revising. So we have the likes of enlargement of the penis and testicles as secondary male characteristics. There is growth of beards and pubic hair in the private parts and under the armpits. All those are secondary sexual male characteristics. It is deepening of the voice. Another role played by the testis is stimulation of sperm cell formation. In the epididymis, there are cells we call Sertoli cells. They are the ones that feed and develop the spermatocytes. The spermatocytes are the premature sperm cells. When the testosterone hormone is secreted, when you go further and look at the biology in details, the testosterone hormone will come in to stimulate the Sertoli cells to feed the spermatocytes such that they develop into sperm cells. And the well-fed and well-developed spermatocytes will be released as sperm cells. That is during puberty, during and after puberty. And this is when you are out of childhood. There are very low levels of secretion of testosterone in the children, in the younger ones who have not reached puberty yet, the juveniles. And then the secretion of this testosterone is at a very high level when you reach puberty. And it plays two major roles: controlling the development of male secondary sexual characteristics and stimulation of sperm cell formation in the testes. Deficiency at puberty, when you fail to secrete testosterone hormone, all of these ones will not happen. They are the male you will find someone is of 40 years, the beards are not forming. This someone has a very reduced penis. This someone has a very low tone voice. Someone will be talking at a very low tone, like ladies. People with the hyposecretion of testosterone at puberty, they are the people who find that do not secrete sperms. They secrete semen without sperms. So they find impregnating women very difficult. Then, actually, that is before puberty. Those are the symptoms. Then after puberty, no, that was after puberty. Before puberty, the secondary male characteristics will not develop. You will not get the deepened voice, the pencil not enlarge, and so many others. Before puberty, when you secrete testosterone before puberty, there are those kids you find with enlarged penis when very young, but enlarged penis. Deepen the voice at a tender age. The pubic hair growing at a very tender age. That is secretion of testosterone before puberty. And when someone fails to secrete it before puberty, this someone will not have development of secondary male characteristics. As simple as that. So that for the testosterone, you must know that its action is induced by the pituitary gland. And we said that the pituitary gland instructs the testicle or the testicles through the interstitial cell stimulating hormone to secrete testosterone hormone. And once the testosterone hormone is secreted by the interstitial cells, it does these two functions. Then, with the ovaries secrete a group of hormones we call oestrogens or estrogens and progesterone. Progesterone hormones. I want in a few seconds someone to tell us or to take us through the major role of estrogen or estrogen hormones. Someone to help us in a few seconds. In a few seconds, as I go through these questions, you also you at least type in the comment sections the function of estrogen hormone, the functions of estrogen hormone. To go through your questions, does testosterone hormone have anything to do with osteoporosis? It is majorly targeted to sex, not to structure, not to the anatomy. It is much more on the sex characteristics and sperm formation. Let me think I've answered you, Lina. Assume a mic and explain to me the corpus luteum. As the ovary is forming, actually, a female has a number of premature ova. These premature ova are known as follicles. When we shall look at reproduction, the premature ova are known as follicles. There are millions of follicles in the female ovary, the female ovaries. These follicles, under the influence of what we call follicle stimulating hormone, undergoes development by repeated meiotic division to form what we call an egg cell. The egg cell is enclosed, actually, they are known as Galaphian follicles. The Galaphian follicles, the one that has developed fully to a level that it can be fertilized, it is surrounded by a layer of other follicles that come along with it as it is released to the fallopian tube. The layer formed by these other follicles around the Galaphian follicle, or the developed follicle, ready for fertilization. This case or layer of cells is the one we call the corpus luteum. It's the one we call the corpus luteum. Let me think I've answered you, Imran. Fiona is asking, Mike, Asimwe Mike was asking. That was a question from Asimwe Mike. And then Fiona is asking, what causes missing of menstrual periods in some months, yet one is not pregnant? When you go to actually university, for those who will offer medicine, you will study the different menstrual disorders. You will find that some people face a condition we call dysamenorrhea. Dysamenorrhea is when one fails to menstruate. It is a normal abnormality. It is a hormonal cause that may be difficult to your level. We shall find some people who face what we call amenorrhea, painful menstruations, and there are some people who menstruate throughout a month. These are all menstrual disorders. We shall look at those hormonal disorders when we move on with biology, higher levels. Fiona, let me think I've tried to answer you. Mugisa Kevin is, estrogen also causes repair of uterine lining after menstruation. That is great. So they have started answering. Kevin, I'm so grateful. So I think what are some of the effects of hormonal imbalances? Fiona is asking. There are very many disorders that results from hormonal imbalances. And I think that will be the last part of us looking at hormones. I'll make a summary of all of the disorders that come as a result of hormonal imbalance. So we are looking at estrogen as a hormone. The functions of estrogen hormone. We said the ovary produces two major hormones. Actually, one hormone, that is the estrogen, and the others are produced by the placenta and the corpus luteum. So the estrogen separated by the ovary, it does the following. Let me think you do hear me, people. Do they hear me? Another answer. So people are giving answers. Fiona is saying estrogen maintains and develops the female reproductive system and secondary sexual characteristics. Actually, one of the things the estrogen does cause development of secondary female sexual characteristics. You can mention them in the comments. You can mention in the female secondary characteristics, sexual characteristics. You can talk about maintaining the uterine it causes thickening of the lining of the uterus in the preparation to implantation. Before we go into that, the uterus, or what we call the womb, has a wall that has layers. The inner layer is known as the endometrium. As the uterus prepare for implantation after fertilization, the inner lining, the endometrium, forms a layer of blood around it. That layer of blood that forms on it is serving functions. And that layer is formed as a result of the effect of the estrogen hormone. actually act as the shock absorber or a protective layer to both the uterine and the uterine and the forming embryo inside the body or inside the uterus after fertilization. It is this lining of blood that peels off when you don't get pregnant and lose it as the menstrual blood. As it is breaking off, in most cases, it also damages the capillaries that surrounds it. That's why some of the girls, alongside um, the the whatever, the pieces of blood or solidified blood, there also comes fresh blood. That's why some of the girls menstruate for more than 3 days because of the damaged capillaries during the peeling off of that wall. Given the functions of estrogen hormone, um, you can talk of promoting, actually maintaining the wall of the uterus. You can talk of it does another inhibitory purpose. It inhibits the release and secretion of um, of follicle stimulating hormone by the pituitary gland. And remember, when this hormone is released, in most cases, it causes menstruation. It is this hormone that brings about development of the follicles, a mature ovum. It is always produced at the start of the menstrual cycle to cause the growth of follicles, also to stimulate the growth of follicles. And this happens as the wall of the uterus is peeling off and when the wall starts to form. So it inhibits the release of this by the pituitary gland and also the luteinizing hormone by the pituitary gland. So it does another inhibitory function, the estrogens. Then there are other glands in the gonads of the female. They are what we call the corpus luteum, mentioned by Asimwe, and they are what we also call the placenta for the pregnant mothers. For them, secrete a hormone we call progesterone. It's a hormone they secrete. We call them progesterone. They are all glands in the gonads of the female. So as I read the comments and the questions, you get for me the functions of this progesterone hormone as I read your comments. Among the comments, which hormones brings about an animal on heat? I think this is agriculture. More enlightenment on osteoporosis, Timothy. Osteoporosis, I told you, it is a condition where less calcium and phosphorus is deposited. Less calcium is deposited into the bone cells, resulting into bone deformation and actually extreme weakness of the bones. Nanyonjo Shakira's joined. She's saying hey, hey too. Tumusime Imran, does corpus luteum cause miscarriage? Miscarriage is actually an it is a self-induced abortion. Abortion with no external causes. The corpus luteum secrete progesterone. We shall find that the progesterone is playing a vital role in the maintenance of the placenta. So the corpus luteum cannot, actually it disintegrates as the placenta forms. But when you look at reproduction, after fertilization, the corpus luteum maintains the lining of the uterus by secreting progesterone, the corpus luteum. But as the placenta fully forms, the corpus luteum disintegrates, disappears, such that the progesterone hormone is secreted by the placenta that is formed under the influence of the human the HCG hormone, the human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone. We shall look at that when we go to reproduction. The progesterone helps in maintenance of pregnancy. Yes, it maintains the wall of the uterus. That is one of the functions. It also inhibits follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone secretion during pregnancy. So the follicle-stimulating hormone is inhibited from being secreted during pregnancy to avoid formation of another follicle, which would start another menstrual cycle during pregnancy. Remember, the luteinizing hormone, the major function is to cause ovulation. Since there is no follicle formed, there's no follicle that is developed, the luteinizing hormone should not be secreted by the pituitary gland to cause which ovulation then. So the progesterone will come in to inhibit its secretion. Thank you, Fiona. So the progesterone does two major things: maintaining the lining of the uterus during pregnancy, and also inhibit the secretion, and also to inhibit the secretion of the follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. I think if we don't have any other further question, we can note those two functions of progesterone. It also serves the other function of causing the development of secondary female characteristics, majorly the development of the mammary glands, development of the breasts, to accommodate the developing mammary glands. That is another function of the progesterone hormone. It majorly causes the development of breasts to accommodate the developing mammary glands. Progesterone. I said the follicle-stimulating hormone causes the development of follicles into an ovum. Also, the luteinizing hormone, the major function it serves, it is to cause ovulation, which ovulation is the release of the mature follicle into the fallopian tube. Do you have any other question before we continue? Any question? Any questions? So please, those people with some notes, you can share them to your friends in the group so that they can make further revision. For those who knew something about chemical coordination, I think we've added something you didn't know, or we've helped you revise. For those who had not covered this, I think we've given you clue on where to start from when revising. I'm online. We said for those who are not part of the group, you contact us via 0703 27 82 31. I'm to online, and I'm teacher Alan. Thank you for being part. Okay.